There we go. All right. All right, sir. Here we are. Today, I am sitting here with a good friend of mine, co-worker of mine, Mike Roshan, and we are going to talk today about our project that we're working on, and as we're looking to become better leaders. One of the things that we do, we work with individuals that are seeking employment. One of the things that we have to do is really trying to find the character of that individual and help them to sometimes identify themselves, sometimes come out of negative situations. All situations are not always bad. Sometimes it's just a circumstance. And one of the things we've done is really found that there are really some great individuals that come through our program here, that a lot of young individuals, we get to see and talk with them. So our character, our vision that we have, and the identifier is, we call them the diamonds in the rough. That jewel that's there, and we just have to sometimes get it and polish that jewel and see what we can, what it comes out to be. Sometimes you think it's a diamond, it's a sapphire. Sometimes you think it's a sapphire and it's a ruby. Sometimes you may think it's a ruby and it's a jade. And then sometimes it just may be a good old-fashioned rock that just looks good in that spot. And so what we do is we try to help these individuals find their character and really help them get in line with what it is, what their purpose in life is. Go ahead, you got something you want to say?
You said it pretty much, you summed it up exactly how I see it as well, David. And we get folks in here that need to be polished up a little bit, and we help them achieve that polishing up by supporting them in the right direction, moving in the right direction of their lives.
Right. So I think as we go through this project and as we look at what it is that we're going to be really continuing on to do, some of the things we find is individuals really don't know who they are. They look at their life circumstances and they identify the circumstance that they're in today as this is the whole world. And you and I know that the world is a lot larger than you know, the 5 to 10 block radius from around your house or where you live at. So we always try to get those individuals to step outside, you know, look outside of the box and to venture out and really see what's out there versus just this is the situation, this is the entire world and how things are in the world. And you know, we look at, when you look at jewelry, when you look at a jewel, let me say, how we go back to the diamond. You know, when a diamond, first it has to be found. You know, it's there and it's laid in a place, but then that diamond has to be found. And once it's found, you really don't know the worth of the diamond until you get all the stuff that's around it, cleaned off of it, pick it up, clean it up, and as a raw stone, it may not be worth that much money. However, it gets to a jeweler, and the jeweler takes it, cuts it, and gives it this definition and this setting, and then it has to be placed in the right setting. And that setting also has to be secure. So in a setting like that, or when we look at some of these parents, some of the individuals that we work with, that's what we do with them. You know, we find them sometimes in their worst state, and we get them. We try to pull them out of the muck and the situations that they're in, and polish them up a little bit. And then once we polish them up, then we try to find the right setting for them. You know, you don't take a baguette and set it into a cobble setting. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't take a what is it called, the five-point cut? You don't take the 5-point stone and set it in a baguette setting. So what we do is really kind of unique. And it's really fine because each person is a separate individual. So what we try to do, what we want to do, is to figure out, number one, who are you? And guess what? That has to come from the individual.
That's absolutely true, and I think one of the things that we do is in helping them get polished up is making them aware of the fact that the world they're coming from is not, like you say, the world that's really out there, and sometimes it takes a bit of polishing to clean off that world and let them see that there is the hope of the diamond brilliance in them as well.
Nice. Yeah.
And up to a certain point, we help them with that, and then they start polishing the diamond themselves.
That is so true. That's true. We have several instances and circumstances where we see the individuals come through that they say there is no hope. They look at their background. They look at, at a young age, already being a parent at a young age, using assistance, the public assistance at a young age, being incarcerated or have dealt with, drug situations, or at a young age being, just happened to, they were rich, their environment that they had, everything that they needed was given to them, but it still didn't make them who they are, and they still had to learn who that individual is. So as they come to us, some of the stories that we get, some of the attitudes that we have to deal with, I'm better than the world, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you are, or the woe is me and everybody's against me. We have to be able to stand firm and be the pillar, sometimes be the anchor in their life sometimes. So they're able to have something to latch onto when they find themselves falling away. So I think that as we continue to dig, I think about the Chilean miners situation comes to mind. They were down there under the mine and they were stuck down there, was some 60 days or something like that? And they were able to survive in the depths, in the belly of this earth. They were able to survive in an environment where many say that there's no way of survival, there's no way of coming out. But with a little hope, with a little instruction of not of what someone up top was telling them to do, but what they had learned on the way down to the belly, and what they learned, those survival skills and those instincts of the natural man. I'm sure they came together, and in their coming together, I'm sure what they did was they had their thought on how we're going to survive. And I know that was not an answer that one man gave. And I'm sure they had to come together. And each one used their expertise. Each one used their knowledge and their skills and something that they had learned in the past. I guarantee you, somebody used something that they thought they would never use to survive and make it out of that situation.
I think they were down there for a couple of weeks before they actually made contact with the lifeline to the world again. And in many ways, that's kind of what we become, is the lifeline to the world. And they made a connection, and they got help. And they bought into that help, obviously, because they knew there was no other choice. And sometimes our parents think there's no other choice. And once we get permission from them to help them, and they buy into what we're helping them with, we have the permission to go places and tell them, here's what the reality is of what's happening. And that's so important.
Right. So, I like what you said. We get permission. That's phenomenal. Because we do ask them for permission. We don't just run up to them and just take control of their lives, but we ask them for permission. And once that permission is granted, we begin to chip away a little bit here, and chip away a little bit there, and chip away a little bit here. And we begin to see the beauty in that individual. But more important, that individual begins to see the beauty in themselves. And they take in their lives a turn and change from that aspect. So, you know, what would you say if you had to tell someone that just walked in and there was something that they just needed to hear something positive? What is something that you could think of that, and I know I'm just kind of just throwing this at you right now, but I'm in this situation and I need some help. I look to you because we converse a lot, and I look to you, and we know that iron sharpens iron, and I respect you because in our conversations we've had some really good conversations. So what would you say? Just throw something at me.
Well, if you came in and let's say you were a parent and you were saying something like, "What can you do for me?"
Mm-hmm.
I would probably respond by speaking of the program and the people,
Mm-hmm.
you and I and the other counselors in the program, and the reason that we're here in the program, and our motivation for doing this kind of work, and that we actually put some skin in the game, so to speak,
Yes.
because we are, the phrase escapes me, but we are makers of change.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Yes.
And we help people change, and we could be doing other vocations, but for some reason we've logged into the fact that this is where something significant happens for us when we help someone
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
get through the rough points in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that the counselors here are all focused on that. The end result is they want to see you walk out of here with some new skills, different attitude about life and yourself, and the ability and the skills to deal with the challenges that come up on a daily, weekly, hourly basis that we all face, and that some of us haven't really gained the skills early on, or there have been barriers and stopped opportunities of learning, or surroundings, the environment that's been different. So, you know, give us an opportunity and be open.
Nice. Yeah.
And we'll see what can happen for you from there. And it's not us that's going to make the change.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be you.
Right. Nice. I like that. I like that. I like that. Because it really is. It's about them, not us. You know, we are a part of their change. And I think that's key. I think that's very important. And you know what? I think on that, I think we're done. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Oh man, I'm sweating.
You're sweating. His hands are wet. He's sweating big time.
I'm sweating.